therefore, when LBM offered me to join Russia, I said, sir, I fought against you, made you withdraw your statements in the council for the sake of Dalip and Russia. Now, don't think of me to join Russia. So God gave strength to say no, but at every level, it was not my self-pride. But God was building something, one over the other. And thus, God kept us, even during life and death. And God said, even if you walk through the valley of death, I am with you. I am with you. And even today he says, I am with you. And I am sure he will be with me, my family, forever and ever and ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijayan. It's really amazing how Dalip and Joyce and Vijayan combined together at CMAI and all the work that TLM, NM and Susie and Alex and Becca and all these integrated, these connections, this network that has been going on and all this pioneering work like Meghanathan and Sarawak Sabha and Philip Jonas did in Pune. Amazing stuff. I'll ask Ashok, where's Ashok? Ashok, can you come and say a few words? And then Molly after that. Just a few words. It's amazing also the tragedies that have developed. We've heard about Madhu and Keith, and then also all of us know about Lily and their son Jason with severe autism and severe illnesses and suffering that have brought people closer. Ashok?
Thank you, Raju. Where do we start? I'll start at the beginning. I joined CMC as a non-sponsored candidate. Some of it is written in the book. No, well, that is part of history. But then joined as a candidate, as a sponsored candidate, and decided to work in the mission hospital because when I became a college-sponsored candidate, the college wanted its candidates to work in CMC. I refused to do that. I spoke to Dr. Fenn about it, and I said that I had a letter from Dr. K.G. Koshi, the same person who wrote the letter recommending that Falis be the best incoming student. I got a letter from K.G. Koshi to say that I could work in a mission hospital of my choice. So after internship, we went to the mission hospital. But before that, while I was doing internship, and I say this with some amount of pride, Keith and I decided to go and work among the refugees who were coming from East Pakistan. The reason again is very simple. I chose to do that because I didn't like gynecology. I didn't want to work with Dr. Kunduz or Dr. Paranjodi. I decided to go and spend there. Believe me, when we first entered the camp, they said, where's John? They said, doctor, there's an emergency. Would you please come and handle the emergency? We had to go across the river. We couldn't get there in time. This was a lady who had delivered and died during delivery because of a hand prolapse. So here I was running away from gynecology and landed up in gynecology. Came back, did my internship, and I went to a place called Chinchpada. Chinchpada is in the middle of Maharashtra, and I went there. I had an interesting experience. You had to go from, can you hear me? She died. She died, and I'll come. She died, D-I-E-D, dead as stone, and they tossed the body into the river. Well, I went to Chinchpada, not knowing Marathi, Hindi, Gujarati, or anything, and I had to go to Bombay, Central Railway, cross across to Western Railway, and I said, Bombay is the place where my friend Gulu lives. Perhaps she'll be on the station to meet me and to say hello. She wasn't there. We went to, got off at Surat station with my baggage, and there was a lady porter. So I said, can you take me across to this, to the Bhusawal line? I'll pay you 2 rupees for that. She said, no, 2 rupees. And we kept arguing about 2 rupees and bay rupiah, and somebody came to me and said, look, 2 rupees, 2 rupiah in Hindi and bay rupiah in Gujarati mean the same thing. Just accept it. I reached Chinchpada at 6 in the evening and went straight to the medical superintendent's house. He was a Canadian by the name of Ormond James Uptigrove. It took me some time to recognize his name. So Ormy, as I later called him, said, Philip, please come for supper with me. I had supper. There was no other way to have supper. I had supper, and then, he was very unhappy at seeing Indians as doctors. I don't know why. Remember, I had just finished my internship. So I went to bed that evening. Early morning, I went to the hospital, looked around. I couldn't find Ormy anywhere. After a little while, he came to the chapel. Mission hospitals have a chapel. He came out in theater clothes and he said, where were you? I called you at night. I said, I didn't hear anybody. I was too tired. In those days, you had to travel third class with all the steam trains and all that. He said, there was a surgery that night. You should have come. Well, I was still a bit puzzled, worried about how I was going to deal with Ormy. We went on rounds, and he said, what would you like to do? I said, I would like to do medicine. I just finished my internship posting with Pulimut, so I knew a little bit of medicine. I said, I'd like to do medicine. He said, you can join me. I'm the professor of medicine. I'm the professor of surgery. I'm the professor of pediatrics. I said, stop. I got it. I've got it. I'll join you. So we went on rounds, and this Canadian, big, huge fellow, he tried to impress me wherever we went, and so on. So we went round, I saw a person with the engorged neck veins. I took the pulse. I lifted up the hand. I said, what are you treating this fellow for? He said, well, we are treating him for asthma. I said, he hasn't got asthma. He's got a cardiac problem. He's got an aortic regurgitation, and he's in congestive failure. So if you treat him with diuretic therapy, he may get better. So I said, okay, move him. We went to the next patient. I felt this man had a mitral stenosis. So I felt the pulse. I lifted up the hand. I put my hand on the chest, and sure, this man had mitral stenosis. I said, this man has that changed everything. Ormy looked at me and said, what kind of miracle do you have in your hand? You touched the patient and you discovered that this fellow's got cardiac problems. That was my first day. We had coffee together and then later became good friends. John, I'll come back to the first day. And that wasn't it. We were 2 doctors, a Canadian with very little knowledge of how to deal with Indians, and an Indian doctor with very little knowledge how to deal with Canadians and Marathis. 4 o'clock in the evening, getting ready to, I was looking at my watch, 4, 5. A lady comes to me with abdominal pain. And I remember this very well. First day in Mission Hospital, she comes to me with abdominal pain, lower abdominal pain. So I examined her and I said, I'd like to do a pelvic examination. Remember, I had no interest in gynecology. I hadn't done gynecology. Most of it was spent in the... Did a pelvic examination. I'm talking of days before ultrasound came to Maharashtra. Did a pelvic examination. She had a pulsatile mass in the right iliac fossa, ectopic pregnancy, almost ready to rupture. So I told Ormy, I said, Ormy, this lady needs surgery. She has an ectopic pregnancy. By then I had already impressed him with my knowledge in medicine. He said, what do you do? I said, we have to operate on her. So we took her to the operating room, and I was there with my hands folded, standing and watching him. He said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to watch you operate. He said, you're going to be in this hospital. If I'm going to operate, you also have to operate. So please scrub up and come. So I went scrubbed up, and he said, you can give the spinal. Spinal? He said, that's the last thing I wanted to do. He said, this is how you do the spinal. And there he showed me how to do spinal anesthesia for the first time. At that time we had anesthesia, hyperbaric spinal anesthesia. So he told me how to, manage the patient so that the level of anesthesia would be at one point. We turned the patient over. He said, okay, now you can operate. I said, operate? I've never done this in my life. He said, no, stand on the right side and you operate. He said, you make the incision. I made an incision. It looked like a line on a piece of paper that my grandson draws. He said, that you'll never get to the abdomen that way. You have to operate. So he held my hand. We operated. He showed me how to identify that ectopic pregnancy. He showed me how to put a clamp, to put the sutures. First day in surgery. First day in the mission hospital. I had done a spinal anesthesia. I had done an ectopic pregnancy. We didn't look back after that. I kept operating. Now somebody said, John, you have done 300 cesareans? I'm a physician, a trained physician. And believe me, I've done a few cesareans myself. But let me tell you of some of the cesareans that I've done. I went to Kotagiri as a physician, and I went there because my father was ill. He needed to be taken care of. I went there. And the first patient I saw was Abdul Latif. Latif had mitral regurgitation. He was in congestive failure. He needed valve replacement. We treated him. He got better. And then we discovered they needed people to deal in gynecological problems. Remember, no training in gynecology, except the mission hospital work that I did. And we started all kinds of things. We started gynecology by doing tubectomies. And then I said, well, if you come for tubectomies, I said, we'll do the tubectomy. We will also, no, you're not going. You have to listen to this. If you do tubectomy, pardon? Yeah, it's going to take time, my friend. If I'm going to do a tubectomy for you, I'm going to do the repair of the abdominal hernia also. So we started surgery that way. Tubectomies with a repair of abdominal hernias. And so it went on and on. Let me tell you 2 or 3 incidents that occurred. There was a patient who came to me from the village. And she had come because she had had a pregnancy. I did a pelvic examination and the cord had prolapsed. She was almost at the verge of delivery, very bad thing. So we took her up for surgery. We did the surgery. I was closing up the wound when she said, this was my first baby, and she collapsed. Believe me, I almost collapsed, but Molly, who's an anesthetist, said, don't worry, we'll manage. We resuscitated the patient. And all through those years, I was in Kotagiri for 15 years, all through those years, we managed to do these things. It wasn't only surgery. I established the first intensive care unit in Nilgiris. We did a lot of work in cardiology. We did a lot of work in hand surgery. We did lots of things in Kotagiri. Well, at the age of 58, I wanted to retire. It didn't work. At the age of 65, I wanted to retire. But then, that didn't work. An opening came. I joined the medical college. 58, I joined as the senior most assistant professor in any medical college. I'm going to be 70 this year, and I'm now Professor HOD of Medicine, examiner to 2 universities. In all, I think I've had a wonderful life. I want to tell you and share just what Vijayan and others have done. All through my life. All through my life. And I think it's the same with all of you. I've heard the same thing from each one of you, how God has shown each of us the way. Each of us have had very, very differing lives. Each of us, and when I look back and look at what you've written in the book, each of you have done such marvelous work. And I feel that among the lot of us, I am the one who has done the least. You've done wonderful work. And I'm very proud, very happy that I'm part of this batch. I want to also say a word of thanks to all who have encouraged me, especially to God Almighty. I was not the best incoming student. I was not the best outgoing student. I was never good at anything. The only skill I had, the only ability I had, was if I was given a task, I would complete it, and I would complete it well. I'll ask Joel to please come and read something that my staff wrote for me when I was leaving Kotagiri. This, in one sense, epitomizes what happened.
உன்னை நேசித்த எங்கள் இதயங்களை நீ வாசிக்காமல் செல்வது நியாயமா சொல். எங்கள் முகங்களில் எல்லாம் முகாந்தரம் அமைத்தவனே, எங்கள் முகாரிகளில் உனக்கு கேட்கவில்லையா? முத்திரை பதித்த உனது சித்திரை சொற்கள் எங்கள் நித்திரையை கெடுப்பது நியாயமா சொல். எத்தனை இதய ஓட்டங்களை சீராக்கியவன் நீ, இங்கே இன்று எங்கள் மொத்த இதய ஓட்டத்தையே நிறுத்த பார்ப்பது நியாயமா சொல். உனது கரும்பு வார்த்தைகள் கடினமான போதும் நாங்கள் கலைந்து போனதில்லை. உனது இனிய இதயம் இரும்பான போதும் நாங்கள் இருண்டு போகவில்லை. நீ ஆடி காற்றாய் எங்களை அலைக்கழித்த போதும் நாங்கள் அழுது பார்க்கவில்லை. நீ உனது நெற்றிக்கண் திறந்த சுட்ட போதும் கூட நாங்கள் சுளித்து போகவில்லை. அகல் விளக்காய் எங்கள் நெஞ்சங்களில் நிறைந்தவனே, பகல் நிலவும் எங்களுக்கு செய்த சாதனைகள் எத்தனை எத்தனை. வித்தியாசமானவனே, உனது விரல்கள் தூங்கி போன எத்தனை இதயங்களை துயில் எழுப்பி இருக்கிறது. வலக்கரம் செய்ததை இடக்கரம் அறியாமல் செய்தவனே.
Thank you. I know you didn't understand all of it. Well, all my life, and I've been working in mission hospitals for many years. All my life, I've tried to build up relationships with people. And whatever work I've done,